Hello and welcome to White Men Can't Pod.
I meant to say I saw you fix the one
Yep.
episode.
Yep. Did I? What was the episode?
That's
Thanks
entertainment.
That's entertainment.
You fixed that on Spotify, I saw.
Oh, I did? Okay, go to Spotify. You can get our shows like Raging Bull.
The fuck are we talking
was
about?
that it?
The fuck are we
That's
talking about?
Entertainment.
All right. Start the intro.
Can you just begin every show with that?
That's entertainment.
I don't think that was good
I
enough.
forgot
No,
what my
I don't
closing
know.
line is. So yeah, we
Yeah,
can
we haven't
close
done the
with
show
that.
since pre-holidays, but it's episode 48 of White Man Can't
It's our
Pod.
first episode of the year.
First 2024 episode. I'm your
Yeah.
host Ryan. I'm here with two guys I would probably cry over if they were my teammates, Wally and Bill.
It's fair.
Thank you, I think.
I don't know.
I
I'm
mean,
not sure if you're just wishing death on me or what.
yeah, that's what I was going.
I was
with.
gonna
I
go
was
with
a little
that.
worried that he's
That was
trying to give
yeah,
us
I thought that was a
cancer.
little too heavy.
Uh,
We watched Brian's song.
oof.
What a
Toofa.
I almost cried in the goddamn library when I was watching
I'm gonna
it.
cry right now talking about it.
Well, as I was saying, the top review here on IMDb is titled, "It was an honor to cry at such a fine film."
An honor to cry at a film.
I don't know how I would say it's a...
You cry in a lot of
Actually, I would
movies?
say fine is the way to describe this
Do you
film.
cry in movies ever?
Like if I'm watching by myself, yeah, probably.
I do. I didn't used to. I do these days. I,
don't
cry
think
about
I-
a lot of things these days.
I don't
feel.
think I've cried at the movie theaters before. Like I've teared up.
Like cried
Oh.
in a movie theater. Okay.
Endgame. I definitely teared up, and I was. It was close. It was
Maybe Dumb and Dumber. I'm trying to think if I ever cried in
Hmm.
the theater.
close. Shut up.
Dumb and Dumber.
I don't think I've ever cried in the
when
theater.
they mixed red and green, that really brought you to
Yeah.
tears.
I hate you.
Dumb and Dumber. Okay, how'd you first see Brian's song?
Brett Siegel
I was gonna say.
That's
I
what
think
I was going to say. Red Seagull.
Yeah.
in religion class.
Why did
and-
we watch this again in religion class? I can't remember.
'cause it's
There's
such
there's got to be a
heartwarming-
reason, right?
Why?
heartwarming story. I don't.
I'm not sure
I
why.
have no idea why.
What was Rhett thinking? Rhett's dead now. We can't ask him.
I think Red
Did he really?
probably just
Yeah,
liked it
Rhett's
and wanted
dead.
to watch it.
Oh,
Pretty sure
Yeah,
Rhett's
Red
dead.
is unfortunately.
that's
dead.
dead.
Based on the real-life relationship between teammates Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers, and the bond they establish when Piccolo discovers he is dying. This is a made-for-TV movie that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you can stretch that out to 2 hour or an hour and a half with commercials back then.
I love the way
probably.
this movie is made.
So I will say we watched the 1971 version, not the 2001 version.
Oh, yeah, fuck that version. Who's watching
I don't
that?
think I've ever seen that version.
I definitely
No,
have.
Don't watch that. Watch this one. This
Yes.
is the one.
There's no budget. Couldn't find a budget. Couldn't find a box office, even though because
This
one.
movie's a made-for-TV movie.
But
so-
they did release it in theaters eventually, but
Okay.
couldn't find a box office for that. So.
All right, so no games except
No-
for eBay Wars
Yeah.
eventually.
Yep.
This is your movie, Wally, or Bill's?
This is my movie.
mine, yeah.
Yep, this is my movie. I made us cry, so
Thanks for making us cry.
no problem.
When I think about this movie, yes, I think about the tears, but I also think about Gale Sayers a lot. And like how he could have been the best running back of all time,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't because he got injured, and there were no medicine was real bad
Yeah.
when he played. So I think he had the equivalent of a torn ACL and it ended his career after like 6 years or
He
5
played 7 years. I'm
7
looking right
years.
now, but the last 2 he played a total of 4 games.
He was hurt a lot. 'cause
So
of
did
that.
he get injured after his rookie season?
It looks like his first year was 65, and they got first year for Piccolo 66. So probably yeah.
Oh, so they weren't actually rookies together.
Well, they might have been. He just because they made it seem
Yeah,
like
they
Piccolo
made it
didn't
seem
play
like
his first year.
They made
Oh,
it
that's
seem
right,
like
that's
they
right.
came in together, which
that makes sense.
I don't know, but that Gale Sayers is basically like Barry Sanders before Barry Sanders. He
Yeah.
was like incredible, and he returned kicks too.
Yeah, saw a couple montages with him
I
returning
believe he
kicks.
played with Ditka.
Yep. They
Which is kinda
they mentioned butt kiss.
Buckus for sure.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Ditka was on that team.
I
or not.
don't remember hearing the name Ditka during the
No, Piccolo was ahead of Joe Namath and Gale Sayers in Heisman voting.
Okay.
Yeah, because
The,
of that his final senior year.
Yeah,
he led
his last year was 64, so he must have gotten drafted and not played.
Yeah. Or maybe he didn't get drafted and
He got drafted in both the NFL and the AFL.
oh, okay. So then he chose to go to that's why he chose to go to Chicago. Cuz he mentions at one point that he chose Chicago, and then all of a sudden Gale Sayers decides to go there
Gale
too.
was also picked in both the NFL and AFL draft in 65.
That's got to be weird, right? Like you got two different drafts. So as a team, you're like, "All right, well, we're going to draft you in this league and then just pray that they come to your league?"
I guess.
Yeah.
That's what happened with the USFL, where they would, like Jim Kelly, when he got picked by the Bills, he's like, "I'm not playing for the Bills.
Fair.
I'm not playing for the Bills. I'll play for the USFL in Houston. I'm not playing in Buffalo." And then eventually, like, he had to
Yeah.
go to the NFL.
So did they retain his rights, that kind of thing?
I'm guessing.
I'm assuming that the other league would retain if they decide to switch, but it was competitive. The draft was competitive between those two leagues at that point. Like now, you're not going to get drafted by what is it called? The UFL.
Is that the combined league?
Yeah,
I was going to say, did the XFL
go play for the Brahma Bulls or whatever they're fucking called now.
So the XFL's done, right?
XFL and USFL have merged to the United Football League.
What's real funny is I listened to two podcasts today. Both of them mentioned the XFL, and they were both like one of them was recorded last week, and the other one was recorded like 3 years ago, and neither of them have anything to do with football. And I was like, why am I getting so much XFL right now? This is weird.
Intriguing.
Yeah. All right, want to get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right. So it opens up with Gale Sayers arriving to training camp. We get a voiceover talking about how different he and Brian Piccolo are. One's white, one's black, one's from the north, one's from the south. One talks a lot, one doesn't say anything, that kind of thing. So Gale arrives and he meets Brian, who remembers him from a senior game last spring. And Brian's obviously the one who talks a lot because he goes into a long story about how he introduced himself to Gale, and Gale just said, "Uh-huh." And then he thought about it for a long time, and he keeps talking and talking and talking, and finally Gale goes, "Uh-huh."
Uh-huh.
And that's about it. So Gale asks where to go check in with the coach, so Brian points him in the right direction. But he does tell him that, Coach Hallis, he's a little bit deaf in one ear, so you want to make sure you're on his right side so he can hear you. So Gale goes and finds Coach Hallis, starts trying to talk to him in just the one ear as they hang a painting and like do stuff around the office. So Coach Hallis keeps turning his back and keeps looking for Gale, and Gale keeps popping up on his right side, and finally goes, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? And Gale's like, I just, I want to, I just want to talk, and you're good here, like, and he's like, what the heck? What are you talking about, my good ear?
What good ear?
And then he realizes that, Brian pulled one over on him, and he's embarrassed, but he's also a little pissed off. So,
It's a harmless prank.
yeah. So we go to lunch, and Brian comes and sits down with Gale. Gale's not happy with him, obviously.
And at this point, the lunchroom is pretty well divided along race lines, too.
Yeah. The captain, I think his name's TC or JC, couldn't quite tell, gets up and he starts talking about team rules and stuff like that. And while he's talking, Brian's just yapping in Gale's ear. So Gale finally, like, shut up. I want to listen. And Captain calls out Gale, like, hey, we were just talking during a meeting and how much of a fine that is. Do you know how much it is? He's like, no, I didn't hear. So he sits down all embarrassed again. It's getting more and more pissed at Brian. But the coach leans in. He talks in the captain's ear. So the captain stands up again. He says, he makes Brian Piccolo stand up and sing the Wake Forest fight song. While he's singing, Gale puts his mashed potatoes on Brian's chair, and Brian finishes his song and sits right in the potatoes.
Yep, and he just kind of walks away.
Yep. Next day, we get a practice montage. Gale's better than Brian in every drill.
Yeah.
That night, we see Brian outside. He's running through the halfback option when Gale comes out. He tells him he wants to make the team, and he figures being good at the options is his only chance. Gale's going to for sure make the team. He wants something that's going to give him the best shot. Gale gives him advice to throw with his or move to the left because you're not roll to the left. No one's going to expect the righty to roll to his left. So Brian thanks Gale and then makes some jokes, and Gale, kind of starts to like him a little bit. We hear a voiceover of the cuts. Gale's definitely on the team, but Brian is just barely scraping by.
Yeah, one of the coaches calls him out as he's not going to make it or something.
Yep. He gets hit for a loss in a drill, and the coach chews him out a little bit, and he makes a joke out of it, and everybody laughs a bit. Then Gale walks in to Hallis's office. Hallis is in there with the captain and the assistant coach, and they're kind of talking about something. And then Hallis goes, I want to try something different. And Gale thinks that he's going to be switching positions or something like that. And coach is like, no, I want to room you and Brian together. And Gale's like, is that it? I thought it was something serious.
Oh, that? No. Okay.
Yeah. But captain tells him, this is something serious. You're going to get a lot of hate from both sides. Like, white people are going to hate you. Black people are going to hate you. You're going to get it in every single city that we go to because this is not something that's been done before. You don't we don't have, or we've never had a black player and a white player bunk up together. So Brian gets back to his room and Gale's unpacking his stuff. So they talk about family and life a little bit. And Brian kind of lets on that he's worried about getting cut. But Gale looks at him and goes, they wouldn't have us room together if we didn't both make the team. And immediately Brian perks up and he's like, all right, let's go call our wives. And he picks them up and he gets them out of bed and they start walking down the hallway when we see a couple of vets with honey or something like that in jars. They're about
urine. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so they start
Jizzle
chasing him.
James. I'm sorry. What?
Jizzle James. Yep, that's his name.
Okay.
Edgerrin James Jr.
Holy
shit!
Why would you name your kid Jizzle?
No. His real name is Edgerrin James Jr.
Oh,
but he goes by Jizzle.
Why would you name yourself Jizzle?
Oh boy,
it's not our decision to.
Good grief!
Why would you make that graphic and put it on television?
Yeah. Do they have to do that if his legal name's not Jizzle?
I don't know. All right,
Jizzle.
Well.
So the vets chase them around to do some hazing. Then we go to a game. Gale catches a touchdown. He seems to be getting a lot of playing time, but Brian is just watching from the bench. Gale's getting interviewed after the game when Brian sticks his nose in.
What's Jizzle doing during all this?
Brian makes some jokes to the reporters, and he embarrasses Gale a bit. Then we get some more real footage of Gale playing.
Being good at football.
Being real good. Yep. The two men then go to dinner with their wives. They're all having a good time. Brian's telling a story about how Gale went for a long run because of a trap play. And then he was winded, so Brian came in, Gale went out, and coach decided to try to run the trap play again, and this time Brian gets absolutely pummeled by the defense.
Yeah, we run the same play they just got embarrassed on.
Yeah.
And now I got to do it.
And then Gale makes a joke, and even his wife is surprised by that. She said, Gale Sayers made a joke. We got a Brian voiceover about a hate letter, which turns out to just be a joke that his mother had sent him the letter. Then we get Brian writing a speech for Gale for his Rookie of the Year award. Gail's rehearsing his speech at the table with Brian when he gets called up for the award. He gets up there. He says, "Thank you. I don't deserve this." And he long ass pause and then, "Thank you." And he walks away.
Yep.
Isn't
That's
it
it.
weird the person they chose to play Gale Sayers in this movie is Billy D. Williams? Fucking Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
The most charismatic guy ever.
Yeah.
And he's playing
He did a
shy
great job then.
Gale Sayers. Yeah, he did do a good job. But it's
I'd
like,
say James Caan did a great job too.
James Caan is
So
great.
yeah.
Every movie James Caan in is great. That guy's awesome.
His
Which
son's
is a
funny.
better role for him, this or Elf?
He's got, I mean, Elf. Did he just die this last year, James Caan?
Did he?
I think he's dead.
I think that's something to look up
For
for
a segment
somebody
to-
who's
to
not
name now.
somebody who's
If
not
James Caan is dead.
doing shit.
I think he's dead.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Is James Caan dead?
He's not. So.
Yeah.
He's
it was-
not dead?
Well, this James Caan is not.
Okay.
CAAN.
Elf James Caan.
He is dead.
Jesus Christ.
2022. He
Yeah,
died
yeah.
on my birthday in 2022.
He did. He gone. Great actor.
Was he the Marlboro Man? Was that him?
No, that's what's his fucking name? Mitchum? Robert Mitchum? Is that it?
Yeah, okay.
That
Something like that?
kind of sounds familiar.
I think it's something like that.
I like his son Tweeter.
Tweeter?
Yep.
That movie will come up soon, I think. Soon.
One would hope.
Soon. All right, Mike Ditka did play with Gale Sayers for 2 seasons. It said it's the greatest player I ever saw live. That's right, the greatest. Dick Buckus said Gale Sayers had the ability to go full speed, cut, and then go full speed again. We played live, and you can never get a clean shot on him. Never. Sayers said, "Give me 18 inches of daylight, and that's all I need."
Yep. So let's see, where were we? So yeah, he gets an award, and his speech is nothing. Next training camp, and Brian's making jokes with everybody. Him and Gale are practicing. He makes a joke just before they run the 40, and Gale looks like he's just laughing the entire way. He's not actually running.
And yeah, Piccolo beats him.
Yep.
Wow, what was the joke?
Honestly, God, I don't remember.
Interesting.
Probably a racist thing.
It sure was.
It was?
Uh-huh. He talks about, I believe this is where he says he's going to name his kid after him.
Oh, yeah.
And then the name that he says is just
Yeah,
very racist.
I
very,
didn't-
very racist.
I didn't actually hear what he said.
Well,
I did not have a
in this
good...
movie. Racism cracks
Yeah.
Gale Sayers up.
it sure does.
So that might be why we watched it, like
Because of racism?
because showing that like
We were.
these two men,
What were we trying to show?
know.
What was Rhett trying to show us?
these two men can get to, like become friends. I don't know. I got nothing. So Brian actually looks a lot better this year than he did during their rookie year. The lineup for the preseason game comes out, and Brian isn't on the team sheet. He still suits up, though. Don't understand that. Gale gets in the game, and he injures his knee.
Just for the job you want, Wally.
Yep. He injures his knee. He gets carted off the field. He's on crutches back home with his wife. He's clearly upset. His wife is trying to talk to him, but his attitude just kind of like forces her to go away. She goes to pick up the kids. So he gets up and starts walking around, and he hears singing from his basement. And it's Brian. And Brian is fixing up a leg lift machine, which Gale doesn't seem like he wants to use it. He seems super, I'm mad.
Because he thinks his career is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually probably back in the 70s or 60s probably was, yeah. So they must have made this movie like 2 years after Brian died?
He died in 1970, and this movie came out when?
A year later?
I
Damn.
guess.
Wow. That's a fast turnaround.
Yeah, that is a fast turnaround. June to...
So Gale's got a sour attitude, and Brian's like, you know what? You better quit that. He basically tells him to stuff it because Brian has always been second fiddle. He was second fiddle in high school to the state's best running back. He was second best running back in the state. So he doesn't get many. He didn't get many college offers, so he went to Wake Forest. And then his senior year, he led the nation in rushing and rushing touchdowns,
which is true.
Mm-hmm. And then he decides to go to when he gets drafted in the NFL, he decides to go to the Bears, and who but Gale Sayers decides to come to the Bears too, and all of a sudden he's second fiddle again. So he says Gale has to be just as good as he ever was, so that when Brian beats him, he can say that he truly beat him. He didn't just get the job because somebody else got injured, which is good motivation. I can see it. So then, where did it fucking go? Gale is walking along the lake, I think it's Lake Michigan, and he's listening to the recap of one of the Bears games, and Brian's got a real good. He had 105 yards on like 14 carries.
Wow,
which is pretty good, right?
That's great.
Yeah.
I actually looked at Piccolo's like stats, and they're not great.
No.
4 career touchdowns.
Yeah, we probably saw all 4 in the highlights.
3.6 yards per carry for his career.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not. I mean, I'm sure part of that was because they had him playing fullback some of the time.
Yeah.
But
so Gale's walking along and he throws his cane away. And then we see a montage of him working out. Brian's there. Gale wants to give up on the leg machine, so Brian decides to call him the N-word to try to like get him mad and get him
mad,
get him to finish out the.
No,
but all it does
cracks
is
him up.
it just makes Gale laugh. He's like, you try to call me the N-word.
His wife comes out and is like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "He called me the N-word," and the wife is like, "What?"
She's like, "Okay, and why are you laughing about that?"
I did like though at one point he's like, "Well, what was I supposed to do? Call you a
wop?"
And he goes, "That would have made me mad."
So yeah, he was just trying to rile him up, but they both end up laughing for the rest of the scene. Then we get a montage of them running together and racing. Gale trips and he lands very awkwardly, but he's just like on the ground flexing his leg and he seems okay. He gets up and he finishes the race. Brian buys him a beer and says that he's healthy again. So back to training camp we go. And we see a montage of drills. Brian and Gale are roommates together again when Coach Hallis comes in to talk to both of them. And he says that Brian is named the starting fullback. And for once, Brian Piccolo is speechless. Then we get some real game footage. Montage of Gale and Brian scoring touchdowns. It seems like the next year we go to a team weigh-in, and Brian is the smallest fullback in the league. He's lost some weight. He's not very tall. And his coach is like, you got to just keep some freaking weight on you, man.
Yeah, he's actually gone down from the year before.
Yeah. Assistant coach tells Gale that Brian is slower and smaller than he was the last season. Because Gale was like, well, he's probably trying to lose weight to get speed. He's like, no, he's slower now. Then we get footage of Brian not playing all that well. He's having trouble breathing during a game, and Gale seems a little worried about him. And after the game, Gale is in the hot tub. And Hallis comes in and he tells him that he's sending Brian back to Chicago. He's going to bring somebody else in. He said, I always play the best people, and right now Brian's not the best. So Gale's like, well, he's just, some guys are just slow starters. And coach is like, no, Brian's never been that guy. He's always been in shape. He's always been right on top of his game from the get-go. So there's something wrong with him. So Gale goes back to the hotel room, and Brian's packing his stuff up, talking about the talk he had with the assistant coach who told him he was going home. He talks about his cough and how the team doctor said he didn't know what it was. So Gale's just like, they just want to figure out what's wrong with you. And Brian's like, yeah, you're right. But I know what's wrong with me. And Gail looks at him. You do? It's like, yeah, I'm pregnant.
Mm.
Another good Brian
Yeah,
joke.
Got him.
So then we go to, it's pregame at Memorial Stadium, and Gail goes in to talk to Hallis about the coin toss, and Hallis tells him to come in and close the door. He just got a call from the hospital, and Brian Piccolo has cancer. They're going to operate on him in the morning to remove part of his lung. They don't know what caused it or if they caught it in time. But Hallis is going to go out there and tell the team. But Gail tells him no. He wants to tell them. So Coach pulls everybody together, and Gail takes the floor. And I actually wrote down the speech he gives. He goes, "You all know that we hand out a game ball to an outstanding player. Well, I'd like to change that. We just got word that Brian Piccolo is that he's sick, very sick, and it looks like he might never play football again, or a long time. And I think we should dedicate ourselves to give our maximum effort to win this game and give the game ball to Pick. We can all sign it and take it up to." And he just breaks down. He says, "Oh my God," and breaks down. And then we go to the hospital. And Brian is making fun of Gail because they ended up losing the game.
Usually when you make a speech like that, you win for the person.
Yep. He tells Gail he blew it. He's supposed to win the game if he dedicates it to somebody. And then all of a sudden, a nurse comes in. And she's looking around at like 7 football players. And she goes, "Out. Everybody out. Get out." So Brian tells his wife to bring Gail down to give an autograph to a little girl he met in the hospital that morning when they both had surgery. The nurse pushes everybody out the door and leaves Brian alone. He looks more serious than he usually does. So Mrs. Piccolo brings Gail downstairs.
Gotta give the autograph to the girl.
Yeah.
But
she talks to a nurse who's like, "Oh, she's not with us anymore." And Mrs. Piccolo does not pick up on that. She's like, "Oh, well, what's her home address?" And the lady's like, "All right." She picks up the little girl that she was talking to, puts her on the ground, and tells her to go away. She goes, "No, she died." Yeah. And Mrs. Piccolo, Joy, like, almost faints, and Gail has to catch her. So then we go to real game montage of Gail taking the kickoff for a touchdown, and then another touchdown he scored. Brian talks to Joy about getting back to football, and he says maybe he should be a kicker since, he doesn't need a lot of wind or stamina or size to do that.
It's not a bad idea.
Which is smart, yeah. You want
to get out there.
She tells him that he's scared. That she's scared, and he's like, "I don't know why you're scared. We're like, this is nothing. This is just a bump on the road. I'm going to be fine no matter what, no matter how bad it is." He's not going to let it stop him. So Brian and Gail are then talking on the phone while he's in the hospital. He looks real tired. He tells Gail to call Mrs. Piccolo because she seemed really scared. So as Gail hangs up the phone, his new roommate gets a note from, I don't know, the hotel manager or something like that saying Gail had a call, and it was from Joy Piccolo. So Gail and his wife go to see her in the middle of the night, and she tells them that they found more of the tumor and they want to operate again in the morning, and she just couldn't bring herself to tell Brian. She wants Gail to go to the hospital and be there when the doctor tells him in the morning, and he agrees.
Which I get, but also that's kind of crazy that you're like, "I'm not going to talk to my husband. Will you do it for me?"
Yeah.
Ouch.
So the next morning, Gail and Brian are playing some kind of like paper football, except not the paper football that you played with the paper football. Remember? In school when you like would flick the
Been in Ron Haskins' room a lot.
Yeah. And a hospital administrator comes in to have Brian sign a form for surgery. But the doctor hasn't been there yet, so Brian's like, "What am I signing?" He's like, And immediately that administrator realizes that nobody's told him.
Yeah.
So he's just he clams up. He doesn't say anything. Brian looks at Gail, and Gail can't look him in the eyes. Finally, Gail tells him that there's more of the tumor, and they need to operate again. Which you see Brian get very serious again. He's not his usual joking self. So Gail pulls the administrator to the side and tells him that, you know, an athlete gets ready for the game both mentally and physically. And it's like you're telling him he's got a game before he can get prepared for it. So the administrator's like, okay, we can operate Monday morning. And Brian agrees to that. Brian goes to sit down. He starts playing the football game again. He says, I scored a touchdown. And Gail's just like, yep, you did. Brian goes into surgery again, and the anesthesiologist says something about putting him to sleep, and he makes a joke about that being just the worst thing you can say right now. And Gail wins the most courageous player award. And it sounds like it was the George S. Hallis Award, so I'm guessing it's a Chicago. It's a Bears only
Probably.
banquet. So this is another speech by him, and it's long, so I don't feel like reading it because it's very long and very emotional. So the big line from it is, it's you flatter me by giving me this award, but I say to you here and now, Brian Piccolo is the man of courage that should receive the George S. Hallis Award. It's mine tonight and Brian Piccolo's tomorrow. I love Brian Piccolo, and I'd like all of you to love him too. So then Brian talks to Gail on the phone about the banquet. He makes some more jokes. Gail tells him he'll be there tomorrow, and Brian says he'll be there. Gail's wife picks up the phone because she's at the hospital with him, and she tells Gail to hurry up because he's really not doing good.
Yeah.
So Gail gets there the next day, and Joy wakes Brian up a little bit, and you can tell he's just barely hanging on right now. Brian says it's 4th and 8, and they won't let him punt. So Gail tells him to go 4th, and Brian says he's trying real hard. He asks Gail if he remembers when he got him with the potatoes, and then Gail talks about the dumb fight song and the 32 trap play. And then Brian says he's going to get him next training camp, and Gail says he'll be waiting. Brian says he's getting tired and he's going to get some sleep now. So Gail tells him he'll see him tomorrow. And he goes over and he hugs his wife.
That's the part that got me, is when they know, like, this is probably it right now.
Yeah.
But they don't say goodbye. They say, like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
And just keep it rolling.
Joy walks over and she hugs Brian and tells him she loves him. Now, I could not understand what he said to her. Any ideas?
No. I don't recall.
And then he just dies right there. Brian Piccolo died at 26 with 3 loving daughters, and his friends remember him by thinking about how he lived and not how he died.
3 daughters by 26. My God.
Yeah, Jesus.
High school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Did some work, apparently.
Did some work.
Yep. So, incredibly sad movie.
Yeah.
Barely made it through the recap without crying here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had said that whole Courage Awards speech, I don't think I would have made it all
That
the
was
way
tear
through.
for me, but the part that got me was when they said, like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's
that was
what
tough.
got me.
This is 18 months. This movie was made 18 months after he died,
That's wild.
which is crazy.
Jesus.
Gail Sayers wrote a book, and he has writing credit on this movie.
It was, what was the third?
The third.
Yeah.
Brian Piccolo Middle School 53 opened in Queens. School is named after the students saw Brian's song and they hung his jersey in the lobby, but someone stole it.
Somebody stole his jersey?
It went missing in the 90s.
Jesus.
Someone stole it.
His number 41 jersey was retired by the Bears.
Oh, I didn't
He
know
didn't
that.
play that much. There's the ACC has a Brian Piccolo Award for most courageous player still, because Wake Forest is in the ACC.
Sure.
Sam Hartman won it. He's the isn't he the dude that transferred out of Wake Forest and went to Notre Dame to play quarterback? He was the 6th winner in 2022.
The 6th?
Yeah, they don't give it out every year.
Oh, okay.
1970, the Bears named an award after him for a rookie and a veteran who display courage, teamwork, dedication, and a sense of humor. Selected by Bears veteran players.
Do they give that one out every year?
It doesn't say who's received them. I think it's like a behind-the-scenes thing.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go to the eBay war, which I threw up in the rundown.
Okay.
Okay.
I could not find anything worthy of.
PSA graded Gale Sayers autographed card.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything worthy of Brian Piccolo. Like, there was a bunch of crappy playing cards and stuff that they were trying to pass off as his signature, and I'm like, no, I don't.
Probably didn't sign very much.
Yeah, I was like, I don't believe that's actually his signature. But
I'm not so good at the autographs.
so this one is a Gale Sayers autographed 1970 Topps number 70 signed Hall of Fame Chicago Bears PSA authentic auto.
But it's graded.
Yeah.
Okay.
The item description from the seller.
Doesn't appear to be mint.
1970 Topps number 70 Chicago Bears Hall of Fame Gale Sayers auto. Signed autograph in black Sharpie. Graded PSA/DNA authentic auto. Your item will be professionally packaged and shipped quickly. Please check out my feedback and buy with 100% confidence. Some item specifics. Autographed, yes. Autograph format is a hard signed. It's just a normal sports trading card. The card number is 70. That's why I kept saying 70. Yeah. So that is what you get.
Okay.
It is a very cool looking card. Like this looks like it was literally from the 70s, not like somebody bought a new card and then had him sign it. Let's see who. I believe Bill has to go first. Yep.
I'm dominating right now.
Bill
You're
has
very
to go
confident?
first.
Really?
Yeah.
He is up 8-6.
See? Crushing it.
So Bill, what is your
Now I'm out of
bid?
practice. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
And also I'm
Terrible.
historically bad at autographs.
Yes, you are.
And this is
Okay.
I don't know. Did Sayers sign a lot of stuff? A few things? I'm gonna set the price at $75.
What? Okay. I'm gonna guess 150. It's gonna be a winner because it's worth way more. I'm guessing.
Your official guess is 150.
Yeah.
Ryan, you win.
Okay.
See?
But the real
Very
number
bad.
is probably like 4.
Nope. You were pretty close.
Okay.
199.88.
I was hoping it was gonna be like 145.
I lose because it'll be over.
I can't do autographs. I have no sense.
75.
I have no sense of what these things are.
Okay.
Yeah, his autographs were kind of like all over the place with their pricing, but I felt like this was a normal-ish one. Also, that is definitely his signature because I've seen like there was a lot of stuff with his signature, and that was his G, and that's how like he actually
He's got
signed
an
his S.
interesting signature. For
Yeah,
sure.
his G was very specific to him. So,
Okay.
yeah, let's see. Bill, Ryan, you won, so you're now
It
down
was me.
8-7.
So I'm still winning though.
You're still winning.
You're
Even
still
after
winning.
that poor showing.
You're still winning.
Yes.
Time for a quote mountain. I believe I love Brian Piccolo should just be the winner. Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be.
Unless
Unless you want to do one of your racist ones that you guys like.
Stop it. Most valuable player?
Brian Piccolo.
Billy D. Williams.
Bill D or
Well,
It's hard to choose.
you have to choose now.
you say Billy D? You said Piccolo?
Mm-hmm.
Give me James Conn. He's got it. He's got to get it.
Yep. Brian Piccolo it
He's
is.
got to get it.
I mean, he pretty much carried the movie. He's
Yeah.
got the lines.
He's funny.
Yep.
Got the serious stuff.
Billy D had it at the end.
Yeah.
He
Gives the speech.
speeches.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Final verdict?
Final verdict.
This
let me
is
get
tough.
the-
It's sad.
It is sad, but
Not
It's
very
short?
Not very rewatchable, but it's a solid movie. I'll give it a 6.4.
I think that's low.
It's a little lower than I was going.
Okay, Bill, what do you got?
6.
I still think you guys are too low. I want to give it an even 7.
Wow. Okay.
So it's at a 6-7 or something.
Oops, I forgot the point.
Make him do weird math.
It is
Ye-
weird math.
Bill actually meant 6.66.
So it is,
Devil's
in
number.
fact, 6.66 repeating.
Oh!
We round that up to 6.7.
Okay.
6.7 out of 10. That puts it right on par with Uncut Gems,
Okay.
What?
That's.
Invincible,
I'm weirdly okay with that.
Why are you okay with that? Uncut Gems is so much better.
It's
Draft
not.
Day,
Draft Day, okay.
Okay, I think probably I like. I definitely like Draft Day better. I don't know if it's a better movie.
Rookie of the Year.
Oh, it's Rookie of the Year is better than this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's those are all 6.7s right there.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's in a good range of movies. Those movies are good.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it.
That's a good spot for
Give me
it.
the next one that it beat out. Like what's a 6?
Oh, what's a 6.6?
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have any 6.6s? I don't think we did. I think we might have a 6.5. 6.5 is Bend It Like Beckham.
Okay, it's better than that, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
6.5 is Glory Road, and yeah, we do not have any 6.6s.
Okay, yeah, no, this I think it's in a good spot then.
Okay. All right. It won't move during a re-rank whenever that happens. All right. Next movie is Bill.
That is true.
All right,
You want to spin
Do you want
the
to
wheel?
spin or are you going to just make a pick?
all right. Look for what movie number are we at here?
We are at 40.
Your episode will be
45.
This was
49.
48.
This is 48.
No,
No,
your
thi-
episode will be 49.
Yes.
Mine will be. Let me do. For now, we'll do one more spin the wheel, make a deal.
Okay, you got football.
I got football. Gosh darn it!
I can spin it again.
No,
we
I
just
got
did,
one.
We just did 2 football movies in a row.
I got one.
All right.
Oh, I got a good one actually. It's one that I thought I was going to have to pick for us.
Don't you
'cause we were
usually
watching
take
it.
them out when we do that? Don't you usually eliminate that category?
That's true.
Well, we're going to watch one that's a good one.
You
Ryan,
could-
you'll probably say
your-
it's not.
your
but
second option would be soccer. If
You're
I
going to
took
say
out-
80 for Brady?
if
Is
I
that what
took
you're going to
out
say?
we'll say 80 for Brady. No, I'm not watching 80 for
80
Brady.
for Brady? Is that what you're going to bring up?
We're going to watch the 1993 classic, Rudy.
Oh
Why-
my
you
God, we
think
haven't
I-
watched Rudy yet.
You think I hate Rudy?
Yeah, for some reason I thought you didn't like Rudy because Joe Montana tells a different version or whatever.
I mean, I like the movie Rudy, but it's not real. Joe Montana's correct. The guy did not
He didn't play.
get carried off the field.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to
that.
get carried off the field. No, we'll go with another football here.
It's
We'll
like-
do.
Rudy was a nice guy. He made a one tackle, and nobody actually wanted to quit the team over him not playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vince Vaughn is in this movie, right?
is he?
I haven't seen it
I
in
think
years.
so.
It has been a while.
Samwise
Been a while.
Well, Samwise is Rudy, so yeah.
Yep, he's in it. I remember thinking it was weird when Lord of the Rings came out after this, and he was in it. And I'm like,
Sean Astin has had such a good career.
he's done a lot of stuff.
Goonies, Rudy, the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
What after that, though?
He, I don't want to add this to that list, but 51st Dates,
Oh God.
Stranger Things.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Stranger Things.
What else has he been in since?
So he's the only is Stranger Things like the new Goonies, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's still rolling, Sean Astin. And
He's
he was
definitely
Rudy.
been, but he's been in very iconic things.
Rudy, I want to say he spoke at our school or something like that.
He spoke at somebody's school. I
He's-
don't think he was ours.
He spoke somewhere because didn't Hep see him or something, and they said he was a dick. Like the actual Rudy,
Oh, the real Rudy.
the real Rudy. like spoke at something. I'll have to ask that, but I think there was a run in there. But yeah, Rudy's not a bad
He's
movie.
been in a couple Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff.
Sean Astin,
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of show TV too.
voice work.
Yeah, he's doing some voice work.
Hey, good. It's good money if you can get it. Sean Astin.
A lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff.
Who is he in
What?
Turtles?
Raphael.
Okay,
Oh, interesting.
like it. That's a good character, unlike Leonardo. Terrible character.
Yeah.
Worst
character.
of the Turtles. Easily last.
Jesus.
He's useless.
I like how that's the only thing you and the Ghost agree on in all of our arguments.
Oh, that Leonardo is
Yes.
the best. Yeah, yeah.
You and Ghost.
Well, he's not the best, but he's not the worst.
He's the worst.
You and Ghost. It's like the only argument you've ever agreed on in the last 10 years. I can't think of another one.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, it
I
might
think that's
be
the
it.
only one. You got something for me? Or are you looking up how many
They
points
both think lowly
Jizz
of
Edward
women,
James Jr.
things like
has?
that, but they think women's sports a joke, and we have to try to correct them on that.
Oh, man.
Lies. Have
Ouch.
you been to a women's professional basketball game?
Ouch.
Have you
No,
been
but
to
I've
a
been
women's professional
college
soccer?
hockey game.
Oh, really? That's nice. I've been to a women's professional soccer game, and
I've never been to any professional soccer game, so
Four?
take that, man or woman. I've never been.
I've been to
You
1,
exclude
2,
all genders.
3.
In
Yeah.
soccer? You
Soccer, I exclude
No.
all genders.
I've been to 4 U.S. women's games.
Look at you.
Yeah. So fuck you.
Yeah, you go so you can protest them.
It's not true. You're the worst.
All right. Well, I think that's
Oh, he was in Franklin and Bash.
a great one. Franklin and Bash. That's got our guy
Oh, that's not why
Zach
I
Morris
wanted
in
to
it, right?
look at this.
I have no idea.
I wanted to
Zach
look at
Morris.
He
Which one?
played Steve Jobs in Robot Chicken.
John
that's fun.
Favreau is in this. Charles S. Dutton. I know who.
Isn't
that
Vince
guy-
Vaughn in this movie?
I'm looking.
I thought Vince Vaughn was in this movie.
If he is, he's not highly
Wow, maybe I'm wrong.
up the list.
Out here telling lies.
I thought he was in the movie. I wonder who plays Joe Montana. They're obviously not doing a good enough job. Whoever it is.
John Favreau's in it.
Yeah.
Did you literally just say that?
Maybe
Yes, I did.
maybe I just thought Vince Vaughn and John
Nope,
Favreau
you're
were
right.
the same
Vince
guy.
Vaughn is in this.
Okay, see? Look at that. Suck on that.
He plays Jamie O'Hara.
See? Take that.
Don't
I
know
had
who the
it.
fuck Jamie O'Hara is.
Very important. Vince Vaughn had a plan. Okay.
Joe Montana, you said?
Yeah, I wonder who.
You want to know who played him?
I wonder if somebody plays him.
No.
Wow, that's a. No, I do hate this movie. You're right. I do hate this movie now. Thanks a lot, Bill. You ruined Rudy for me.
Thought you would.
All right, Rudy's next. Hopefully, it won't take 6 weeks to do it.
Christopher Reed is it?
No, I was just super lazy last weekend. I could have. I for
could've.
sure should have watched this
You
movie
could've,
last
but you
weekend.
didn't.
This
Well, no, the
movie-
library was closed the one time.
What are we
That was
watching?
that was last Monday, wasn't it? That was
Yeah, you're like, you can't. The library's closed.
Yeah.
Rudy might be on Hulu, but I think that might have to pay. I'm not sure, but it is for sure on Tubi.
Oh, baby.
That's good.
One of my favorites.
I've been watching a lot lately.
You like it now.
I do. I've come full circle.
Turn it around. You come to the right
They've
side.
started to put actual movies on there.
You come to the right side of history.
You know what else I've started to watch?
Porn?
I suppose I've discovered this.
He doesn't do that. He
Uh,
doesn't swear and he doesn't watch porn.
Right.
I'm glad you know this. I've discovered that just regular YouTube has real movies on it now.
Yeah, it does.
That's
It's one of my
actually how I
favorites.
watched this one.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites are on there. Quigley Down Under. Great one.
I don't know if I've seen it or not.
Quigley Down Under.
I'm sure that I was supposed to watch it as a kid. I don't know if I ever did.
You would. It's my guy, Mr. Baseball. You were supposed to watch Quigley Down Under?
Oh, I'm thinking of something different. I was thinking of a
Baseball.
western.
It was
It
that,
is a western. It's a western. It's one.
Yeah, I know, but I was thinking of
Okay. A fucking.
Clint. I thought it was a Clint one.
It's not a Clint one.
But I'm sure at some point my dad was watching it, and I was like, ugh.
It's Tom
and I would've-
Selleck. Tom
Tom
Selleck
Selleck,
as a
that's who it was.
cowboy goes to Australia to do stuff. Runs into Hans Gruber,
Okay.
who's the bad guy.
Naturally.
And
course
then
he
they
is.
battle it out. That is a perfect Ryan Murray movie.
It is a perfect Ryan
It's
Murray.
pretty much a perfect Ryan Murray movie. Hans
Wait,
Gruber,
actual Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman is the
Okay.
bad guy.
All right.
Hans Gruber versus Tom Selleck
How's
in
the mustache?
Australia.
So it sounds like
Two great mustaches because Gruber's
Yeah.
got one.
It sounds like a reverse Crocodile Dundee.
Kind of, yeah, I guess. But then he kills
That's
the
not
shit
a
out
Oh
of
wait,
him.
no.
This is a knife.
Crocodile
Crocodile
Dundee
comes to America.
in the second one.
In the third one, I think.
Oh, I thought this.
Yeah, what was the
No, the
what was
second
the
one, I
point
think
of
the
that
second one.
movie?
No,
I
he
think the
comes to he comes to America in the first one because then he said the guy tries to hold him up and he's like, "No, this is a knife," and pulls out the big knife.
That's in, I think, the second one.
Oh my god, what is wrong with me?
Crocodile Dundee, the
first
blonde
one?
girl goes down to Australia.
Okay, well, there
I
you
don't
go.
know. Maybe they
Yeah.
show up at some point, but
Set in the Australian outback.
Okay, so the first
And in
one's-
New York City. Okay.
okay.
It's in
so
both,
they-
so I'm
yeah.
not
a little
wrong,
bit.
and neither are you.
Yeah.
It's a real Quigley Down Under.
This is real quickly down under.
What's the name of the Quang? The Quang Mountain.
Quang.
Quang, the wrestler Quang.
That's right.
Quang.
Who was Quang? Was that Savio
Savio
Vega?
Vega was Quang.
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 There's another Quang.
There's a Quang coming out.
Good lord.
Quang. All right, we're done. That's enough quanging around.
Yeah.
Show longer in the movie.
Oh, I remembered my
Not yet.
I remember my line.
You did Quang? Quang.
No,
What's your line?
When we end it, I remember
Oh,
my
all right.
line.
Peace out. See you next time.
Ding, ding.
Oh, how'd you forget
I
that?
don't know.